Okay, so for this I'm gonna do a voiceover because a lot happened and I want to talk through it also. Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of talk what I see, and I mean, if you're not a fan of me talking, you'd probably just mute the video and watch it normally, but yeah. So before the races we get called up for gridding, so this is us getting called behind the barriers, and you basically line up like this, and then your number and your name is called over the tannoy, and then you roll up and you choose your grid on the start line. There was a nice little space on the left here that it looked like there was space, but then I went up to it and realised that the barriers basically close in, as you can see there. So this is the start here. I got an okay initial start, came on, and then someone crossed over my wheel and made me lose my balance, so that's why I veered right. So that was a bit annoying. I kind of lost my momentum there. Keep pushing on, and now here we go fast right off the tarmac, and basically what happened on the first lap is Ben Turner had slid out on the gravel and went head first into a barrier. So this is us basically stopped. That's a spike on the right there, and yeah, everyone's off their bike. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. There's Thomas Mean on the right with a ship chain. So yeah, those things happen in the start. That's why you've got to get a good start so you can hopefully stay out of trouble on that first lap. So not the best way to start the race, like being on the back foot there, but these things kind of happen. They're kind of what you have to deal with the race. Lots of guys got kind of caught up. So this is the kind of one of the straights along the bumpy pits, and you'll see the shadows on the left. I've basically got dive bombed a bit on that first lap on the inside. Steps here, then remounting. It's important to get clipped right back in. It's really rough, so you've got to get right back on the pedals and back sprinting. So just trying to pass as many people as possible and just keep your flow and stay out of trouble really. So quite a technical bit here with the ditches, so they really kill your speed, and I kind of lost a bit of my momentum there. Just the kind of hectic first lap, as you see riders making mistakes. It's just one of those things. On the first lap everyone's nervous, everyone's fired up, and mistakes get made, and that's why there's crashes and wobbles and stuff. So here we're at the tyre step-ups. For some reason the UCI didn't allow the tyres to be actually used in the ground like they did last weekend, so they're just steps this week. They are rideable, they were rideable, but on that first lap I just decided to run. Here's the proper scaffolding steps, so these are properly burn your legs. So you got to remount quick, get back on the pedals, and then down this side, and then there's a little banking here you've got to properly sprint into, and this leads you into the hurdles. So really fast hurdles. They're not massive, they're probably like 35 centimeters. Most guys bunny hopping. The ground is quite rough, so you just have to make sure you're not like getting too off balance. Right here, two guys just get caught up on a barrier. There are some really sketchy surface changes from like grass to tarmac. So yeah, those kind of incidents happen quite a lot. Here's another one, 180 degree left hand corner onto the tarmac with barriers right there. Really sketchy, then back onto gravel. So yeah, you just got to keep your wits about you. Then you're onto a running track, more kind of slidey surfaces. So now we're back at the round at the pits, still on the first lap, just getting as much out as possible. This bottom left hand corner got really slippy. I'm not sure whether it was the spray from the power washers or if it was the frost kind of thawing, but it was probably the most technical corner on the course for like exit speed. It's really important that you carry as much speed out. So now we're heading into the final part of the course, the technical. technical section with loads of these sandy corners. A lot of them are banked like this, so it's actually a really fast section, all pedaling pretty much. So yeah, pretty fun to ride, but quite tough in the race because you're absolutely blowing. So I've just basically overtaken a few guys on that first lap, and I'm bridged onto the back of this group. This is a particularly hard home straight. It's quite long and it kicks really hard at the start, so it's quite, it's a hard one for me. I kind of struggle in these tarmac sections, but I usually manage to bring it back on the technical stuff. So that's me just kind of rolling back up to the wheels here, because when you get to technical sections, people kind of back off and the kind of gaps come back a bit. So same again here after the steps. Really important just to get your feet right back in, and it's a good place to overtake people because if you've got the edge on them, you can just kind of roll past them. So I actually rode it this lap, so I just backed off the wheel there and decided to ride it. It really depends on lap to lap whether I decide to ride it or not. In that situation I was at the back of the group, so I had a wee bit more time just to back off, and like if I was in the middle of that group and I wanted to stay right on the wheels, I probably wouldn't be able to ride it. But because I was at the back of the group, I wanted to save as much energy. Riding it actually is a lot less kind of energy using, because you don't have to jump on and off your bike. So yeah, over the hurdles again there. I'd say most riders now are bunny hopping, so there's not as much of an edge for bunny hopping. So this is one of the Marlux guys who's just come by me. I think he was caught up in a crash on the first lap, and using riders like that, who've like faster riders who have got caught up in crashes, you can use them to kind of help you move up, because they're basically trying to move up through the pack anyway, so it makes sense for you to try and stay on their wheel for as long as possible. So the plan was to kind of stay on this number 40 for as best I could, for as long as I could, to try and bridge across some gaps and kind of use him. He's a really strong rider, so if I can stay with him on the tarmac and stuff, then I'll hopefully make up some time that I'd lost on that first lap. So back onto the tarmac here. Every lap this just absolutely ruins you. It's like 30-40 seconds of just max power. Doesn't matter whether you're at the front or the back, you're just trying as hard as you can. And yeah, there's some riders who absolutely fly along the tarmac. Just the kind of nature of how they ride, they're really strong on the tarmac. So it's just one of those things that I'm always trying to work on. But yeah, I do struggle in the race. So this other Marlux guy is just bridged across as well, and we have caught the next group on the road. I think there were 3 or 4 riders strong. So this is us just getting kind of settled in that group. I'm the last rider of maybe 5 or 6. So this is me kind of backing off the wheel a bit. I actually let a rider in, not on purpose, but I was just backing off the wheel a bit because I was a bit gassed from the chasing that we'd just done. So yeah, this is a particularly hard section. It's kind of very undulating with a lot of muddy ruts, and you kind of slow down and speed up quite a lot. So back into the steps. I've just passed that other rider that did pass me, and I'm just riding up it. Just trying to get back on this group of riders. So into the hurdles again. You kind of come off that lump and you can put a few pedal revs in before you start to kind of get ready to set up for the hurdles. After the hurdles is quite a long straight with a wee chicane in it on this tarmac. so it's quite it's not actually very windy, so it's a good opportunity to, if you're riding faster, to overtake. So this is me just getting past another few riders, just as we come onto the off camera. So at this point I was starting to kind of get into the flow of things and take places. The two Marlets guys are just ahead around the lake, so they've kind of pushed on a bit, and I've ended up bringing about another 5 riders with me. So it's just one of those things, like I was trying to push on, and up here I misjudged this corner. It's quite hard to remember if it's left or right or left, and I just went to the outside, and then I thought it was a right hand turn and went into the scrim of it, but I think the rider behind me did the same because he was just following my wheel. So there's about 5 riders behind me, and we're onto the tarmac, and I'm pushing on a little bit because I need to keep the pace high, but I'm not going max effort because I don't really want to tow these riders through. So I'm just pulling over here, and the other riders are coming through. Just gives me a bit of a break. Into the steps again, and there's a rider coming up on my inside. I seem to have left the door open on that particular corner quite a lot. It wasn't the end of the world, but because of the nature, like the exit of that, if you did manage to take the inside, they'd overtake you quite well. So this is me just trying to get past this rider on the left hand side, the telenet rider, but he was properly holding his ground and just slid up my inside there. The fight for position is really important. Being 4th wheel is just a little bit too far back. You want to be 2nd or 3rd, so you're not in the wind, but so that you can still react to all the of everything happening at the front. So this is me dismounting up the inside. Yeah, if you're any further than 3 wheels back, the amount you have to slow down for features is just it's too much. So that's why you need to be a bit higher up. So coming into hurdles again, it's the Australian champ leading through there actually, and Thomas Mean, who had problems at the start on the green bike there, is just moved back up into our group. He just slides up the inside there. You see his number flapping away after his crash on the first lap. So this group has quite a bit of pace about it now, with riders kind of jostling at the front. So the group is going really fast, which is a good thing because it means you push on and hopefully you'll be able to catch other riders, but it also makes it mega hard. There are just some riders who are incredibly strong on the tarmac, and they're just flying past us. Yeah, I don't know where else they're putting their power out on the course, but they seem to get on the tarmac and manage to just absolutely lay down the power. Yeah, a lot of these guys race full road seasons as well, so that's where they get a lot of it as well. So yeah, back on the pedals. A lot of people, if you muck up your remount, you can lose your momentum. So yeah, it's always just about being as smooth as possible. And I think it's up here that I get my puncture, so I come over this, then go to the inside, and I just whack something really sharp, and my tyre goes completely flat straight away. So front wheel puncture, and we just passed the pits. The pits are just before the steps, so I have a long way to ride. So it's now just about being as smooth as possible, not falling off, and also not breaking your rim. So I'm riding it completely flat on the rim, front wheel puncture. You see the Australian rider dismounting there, he's also got a front wheel puncture, so he got it at the exact same place. and yeah, having the puncture on the front just makes it so much sketchier. If it's on the rear, you can kind of steer a little bit, so you see him running down that banking because it's just so sketchy. My tubs are glued on amazingly by pedal power, so I had no issues with riding the tub. I knew it wasn't going to roll off the rim, but all this, like riding down big bridges with a flat front tyre, is just horrible. You're just banging on the rim and you lose so much speed. So that group that I was working in is just gone way up the road. You can see them kind of going over the hurdles now, and I obviously had to dismount for the hurdles because I don't think I can do bunny hop hurdles on a flat tyre yet. So yeah, it's pretty demoralising seeing riders absolutely fly by you, but it's one of those things. Yeah, it's pretty annoying, but like the main thing is not to let it go at all. Like, you've still got to keep pushing, because I think we're only about 4 or 5 laps in, so it's still a fair way to the finish. So now I'm coming into the pits, and we actually completely muck up this pit change. I say I do pretty much. I went to grab the seat and the bars turned, and it went, the bike went all over the place, so I basically like didn't pick up the bike properly. One of those things that happens when you're stressing out and you're in a rush, you're just trying to hurry through, and it's those times you really need to take a big deep breath and just relax and do it properly, because the time that you're going to lose from taking your time is going to be nowhere near mucking up like that. So yeah, little error there, but it's all just learning, learning just to be relaxed in situations like that and how to deal with it properly. So yeah, I am a little bit stressing now because I'm back on a good bike, so I want to just push on, but I've actually picked up a rear puncture, a slow puncture, so there was a thorn in the tyre, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It probably didn't slow me down too much, but my other bike change went a lot better. I basically slowed down a lot more for it, picked up the bike properly, a lot better. So this is Dougie just trying to work out what's wrong. I'll usually try and communicate as much as I can to my pit team when I come in, so like if there's an issue, like my seat slipped or something, I'll like shout like some clear instructions, but this one was fairly easy for Doug to work out, that I had a rear puncture, so yeah. This is just the last, this is on the last lap now, through this last technical section. Doug's got my other bike ready if I did have another problem, but I just end up sticking on this bike. Thomas Mean also had a puncture later on in the race, so really hard luck for him in his new colours. And then on to the finish straight. So yeah, I finished 33rd. I think I was running 22nd for a wee while, but yeah, just a few mistakes along the way, and yeah, frustrating, but I learned loads, and just racing at that high level, like any result is pretty much a good result because of the level you're at.
Just super, because it's really fast on the tarmac.
I got a bit outdone, and then we were like sprinting like so fast, then some guy whacked into my back wheel and brought the rest of the field behind me down. I didn't come up. Then I don't know if you've been up to start finish straight.
No, I've not seen it.
Basically, it's tarmac, and it drops right into like muddy ruts, and it's just so narrow, and basically everyone crashed.
Yeah, I did see it in the TV footage. In second last lap, there was a big crash in the front group there.
Yeah, it's so fast. Everyone crashed, bikes everywhere. Everyone was like just scooting along. It's horrible.
So yeah, that was my little post-race chat with Doug about what the heck happened at the start. So yeah, good race, happy with it. Then I went over, and David Duggan, Scottish elite rider, was riding in with the big boys, which is a pretty cool experience for him. So I went and filmed an In the Rut, so that is up, link down in the description and also in the corner. Yeah, go watch that, because it's a pretty cool one. I'm quite proud of it. So yeah, first off, big thank you to Davey and Doug for all their help at the weekend and travelling over and driving and stuff. Good experience being out there with a different support crew, and it was good seeing Dave experience his first kind of Belgian racing. Yeah, and I think he enjoyed it loads, so yeah, good positives from him as well. My next race is York this weekend, so I'm racing back in the UK for a national trophy. Looking forward to it. And then the following weekend, the 1st and 2nd of December, I'm out at GP Hasselt and Frandriencross. So I know that Frandriencross is quite a sandy course, so I will see how I do on that. But yeah, it's been good fun. Big thank you to all the support at the races. It's good fun seeing you guys come up and say hello and stuff, so I really appreciate all the support. So thank you very much, and remember to subscribe and like and stuff, because I'm hoping to get a few more skills videos out in the next few weeks, so yeah, look out for them as well. Cheers.